Good day. I am back at the Blue Mountain today. A different day, different light. Not quite as good as yesterday, but I've got my fingers crossed. But the main reason I'm back is because the fog that was in my lens by the time I got home yesterday had cleared. So I'm going with the fact that it's okay and everything's going to be okay and the lens is working fine. Fingers crossed. But I am going to carry on my adventure up the waterfalls and hopefully take some beautiful images, and you guys have a nice time. Fingers crossed. The waterfall doesn't have as much water coming down, which is a bit of a shame, and there isn't much light today. It's completely different, but it's a lot more dramatic and a lot more moody. I'm going to get this first shot now. I'll talk you through it, but I think it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. So what I've done for this first shot is I've decided to go put my polarizer just on the front, my Nifty polarizer. I'm doing it to darken the rocks and to get rid of a bit of that reflection, okay, to make it a little bit more detailed. I've done that, and also what I've done is I've focused on this rock right in the middle. Okay, so hopefully on f8 that's going to be nice and sharp all the way through the image. The most important part of this shot is the trees just above, the little waterfall in the background, and this big rock. And I'm really loving the colour of these trees over on this side as well. Okay, so I've got it on a 2-second timer. I'm going to fire that off now, and it's nice and simple. There's nothing that exciting, but it looks great. It looks really, really nice. Sorry, you had a dust on your face. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head off to the special waterfalls. The waterfalls I chose this location for. Fingers crossed we get a break in the clouds and light up the Blue Mountains. But let's see what happens. So I've got my shot all set up, and what I've decided to do is use my 10-stop ND filter. The reason why is because I've got so many different waterfalls, I'm really wanting to make one consistent line leading you up all the way up into the Blue Mountain, which does look blue, funnily enough. And the Blue Mountain's got these clouds travelling over the top, so I've put my variated neutral density filter in there, so that I can darken out the sky even more than I have the water. So the water still stands out, the sky's darker, and it's looking epic. And this is what I'm hoping for, a really dramatic, epic scene with this beautiful series of waterfalls leading up into the mountain. Taken a second image now, and the second image, what I've decided to do was to take off my 10-stop neutral density filter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you both images now, one with my variated neutral density filter, 3-stop, and then one with my 10-stop neutral density filter. I'm going to show you why I chose to use the neutral density filter. So I hope you liked both of them images, and you can see why I decided to go for the neutral density filter, the 10 stop. so that I can really flatten out and make one consistent line up the hill and up to that blue mountain. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to the next waterfall, which is even more epic, I promise, and see what I find there. I'm not sure how well you can hear me, but what I've done is I've done a couple of different ideas. My one idea is I've gone for a vertical panoramic. I've started off down by this waterfall here, coming up, taking another shot, come a little bit higher, taking another shot of the waterfall, and then what I really wanted to do was go a little bit higher again and get almost the tops of these trees. I'm going to try 2 more shots while here. One of them just at the waterfall. I'm going to come down nice and low and I'm going to shoot across here, across that little thing there, this little waterfall, up into the big waterfall being my focal point. And then I'm going to try something else. I'm going to wander just onto this ledge here and I'm going to take another shot, hopefully with that mountain just in the background. So there's a couple of things I'm going to try here. Fingers crossed they work out. And I'll show them on screen now. So I've found my next composition. So what I've decided to do is come to the same level as the waterfall. And what I'm doing is I've got the waterfall coming down and then I've got the mountains coming up. Now obviously they've got different amounts of light on. So I've got 2 options on what I can do. I can either take a photograph and then try and blend them together using Lightroom. I can get my neutral density filter out, my variated one, put that on. Or what I can do is I can bracket my shots. So that's taking different exposures so that my waterfall exposed properly. And then I can readjust my shutter speed and then I can get the mountain all dark and moody. And then when I blend them together, I've got a properly exposed photo all the way through. So fingers crossed, that's going to look pretty epic. So I found this other waterfall that I didn't actually know even existed. And I think this might be my favourite so far. What it is I've got this waterfall here and it's making a huge big line all the way across. And the water's all falling over it. And it looks incredible. Then just above there, I've got another waterfall that's coming off like this. And then just above that, I've got the huge waterfall that I thought I was going to, but I found this location. And then there's a valley caused by the hills, and then just behind it is the Blue Mountains. It couldn't have worked out any better. I'm so happy with the result. I've already taken my images. What I decided to go for, because I haven't got the widest of lens, is a vertical panorama, which means I am going to lose a little bit in the middle, I'm going to lose a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom, but it's going to work out. It's going to look absolutely amazing. I'm super excited because all the trees are so autumnal. Everything just looks amazing. Something I did decide to do though is to close my aperture a little bit. I normally shoot on f8 and I've decided to go on f16. The reason why is so that I get an exposure of 2.5 seconds, and with that exposure I get some really nice lines, but what happens is it doesn't go too far. Now if I use my 10 stop, it would look cloudy, it would lose all detail and definition in the water, but I want to keep that definition. So I've decided to close it so then I can have that longer exposure and not lose that definition. I'm going to head up to the final waterfall. There is meant to be a storm hitting this afternoon. I'm going to get my image of the final waterfall. What a day. It's been a good day. So I'm going to head up there now and then get my final image. So the location I'm at now has a huge waterfall just over there. It's so big and I'm so low down that you can't actually see the Black Mountains. But what I have got, you might have noticed just over my shoulder, is this autumnal tree. Now that is going to be my focal point. That is what's going to give me scale. To do that, that means I need to cross this. Okay. My idea is I'll be able to shoot up through the waterfalls up to the big one, but having that autumnal silver birch is what's going to make this image. So I've done my little research, I've worked out where this composition is going to be best. I'm going to walk you through it. So what I've got in my foreground is I've got this little waterfall here. The little bit of white stuff, all the aerated water here, is leading your eye up, and then the water travels off this direction up into the big waterfall up here, and then to fill my blank space I've got this tree. And then in post what I might do is I might make it a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more standy outy, and maybe give it the look of light. I'm not sure yet, I haven't seen the image, but this is what I'm thinking about doing. Okay. And then above I've got these dark moody clouds, but that isn't what the image is about really. The image is about these autumnal colours and this beautiful leading line, and then the one bit of blank space being filled by this beautiful little silver birch tree. That's perfectly in autumn. It'd be really nice if I had some light, but I don't. So what I've got it on is I've got it on 1/3 of a second, f16, ISO 64, and gonna fire it off, 2-second timer, boom. And that's the shot. Isn't that looking beautiful? But that is the end of my vlog. I'm going to show you the image in full screen. Thank you for watching, and if you do feel the need to come to Skye and explore the waterfalls coming up to the Blue Mountain just up on top of that crest, definitely do so. But make sure you bring a friend and you wear some wellies. A lot of times you'll want to cross rivers, and a lot of times you spend your time walking through bogs. But thank you for watching, see you next time, bye for now.